Welcome on back. We're about to hit 6:44 in your Capitol Watch. We've been talking about this all morning long. Over the weekend, the United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran, killing Iran's supreme leader and reportedly hundreds of others. Now, this has been followed up by Iran striking targets throughout the Middle East. As of right now, 4 American troops have been killed. President Donald Trump says that we can't expect more American casualties. So let's go live to Scripps News Group national correspondent Joe St. George. And Joe, how long might this conflict go on? And is the president correct in saying that more American lives could be lost?
Well, sadly, right, in Colorado Springs, southern Colorado, such a military community. The president recorded a message last night when the tally was 3, and he warned that more lives would likely be lost. And he was sadly correct. This morning, just about an hour or so ago, U.S. Central Command announcing that another member of the military has succumbed to their injuries. So the total now is 4, and this is a conflict that is likely not going to have a quick resolution. And by quick, I mean in the coming hours or the coming days. The president telling the Daily Mail yesterday in a quote, a phone conversation, a pen and pad conversation, that it's always been a 4 weeks process. So 4 to 5 weeks is what we're hearing right now. But I think all of this is subject to change. Just about 40 minutes or so ago, Secretary Pete Hegseth gave his first press briefing since the beginning of Operation Epic Fury. He said this, I'm going to quote the secretary here, "This is not Iraq. This is not endless. This is not a regime change war, but the regime sure did change and the world is better off for it." Here's President Donald Trump again from a previously recorded social media message about the state of Operation Epic Fury this morning. Take a listen.
Combat operations continue at this time in full force, and they will continue until all of our objectives are achieved. CENTCOM shared the news that 3 U.S. military service members have been killed in action. As one nation, we grieve for the true American patriots who have made the ultimate sacrifice, and sadly, there will likely be more. Before it ends, that's the way it is.
That is a quote that I know a lot of service member families don't want to hear. The president predicting more, and he was right? When that was recorded, the total was 3. It is now 4. I think the fundamental question that the world is asking this morning is, who's going to lead Iran going forward? And that's going to dictate how long this conflict goes on. Is the Iranian regime capable of holding on to power, or will there be a form of an uprising? Now, Iran's foreign minister is saying they hope to have a new Ayatollah in place in the coming days. President Trump is encouraging people in Iran to rise up. It's one of the many storylines we'll be following, not just in the coming hours, not just in the coming days, but in the weeks to come.
Thank you so much, Joe St. George, live in D.C.